And insurance firms in Nigeria are already bracing up for the potential claims following the widespread looting and destruction of properties, vehicles and other assets across the state. TITUS Abe, the managing director of LIVINSTON Insurance, joins us now live to examine the immediate impact of the wanton destruction on the insurance sector. Mr. Abe, many thanks for joining us today on NEWSDAY to look at this in more detail. It's going to take about 1 trillion naira, I believe, and that's to fix the damage across Lagos State alone. I know you're currently in the Federal Capital Territory, and different states have their different accumulations of numbers at this point. So many private sector individuals have lost so much. How much of a strain does this put on insurance broking firms like yours?
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me on this program. Well, the recent protest by the youth has brought in has opened our eyes to a lot of things, both as the insurance industry as well as the insuring public. If in Lagos State alone, we could be talking of 1 trillion naira as losses, then you can be rest assured that by the time you collate what happened in all other states, it comes to a sizable amount of money. And when you look at the figures, it gives, personally I've looked at them, and it gives me a lot of concern. It shows how serious we are when it comes to insurance in this part of the world. For example, if you look at last year's gross premium income, it was around, let's say, approximately 500 billion, and the total amount of claims paid out was in the neighborhood of 350 billion naira. Now, if you now do a reverse analysis, right now, apart from all the other claims that have been paid from the beginning of the year till date, now we have a claim of 1 trillion, losses of about 1 trillion naira on our table from a single state out of over 30 states. Then you know that the level of gross underinsurance is quite much. For example, in Lagos State alone, let's say the total number of that 1 trillion represent maybe not more than 1% of the total assets that is in Lagos State, both from the government and other private business persons. Now, if you look at the premium income that was meant to have been generated from that 1 trillion naira, let's say maybe between 2 and 3%, it comes to like between 20 billion to 30 billion naira, and that is from one state. And meanwhile, if you look at let's say earlier we said maybe 1%. Now, if you look at everything holistically from Lagos State alone, that means we'll be looking at premium income of between 200 billion to 300 billion. That's from Lagos State alone. But by the time you now add the FCT and other states, you discover that what we'll be talking about should have been, the premium income should have been in the neighborhood of trillions that will be generated by the entire industry in the nation. Now, but right now we are talking of claims of about 1 trillion naira. So the level of underinsurance is quite high, and that is why I'm saying that why I said it's an eye-opener for everybody, and it's high time we rise and take advantage of the situation.
Indeed, lessons that we must learn. You've highlighted how the penetration for insurance remains very low in Nigeria and limited to major cities across the country. But let me ask you, are there policies that cover damage to property from fire, riots, civil commotion, or vandalism? And what should affected businesses be doing at this time? What should be the first step or the first few steps they must take as we're counting the losses?
Okay, if we still stay with the Lagos State example of 1 trillion, I can bet that not all of those 1 trillion is insured. Some of them are not insured at all, and some of them do not have adequate insurance cover. So that has opened up a lot of issues to be addressed, in this matter. And taking that into consideration, you discover that if we want to do the proper thing, if we want to do the proper, insurance, we'll need, for example, those who have fire insurance, the corporations that have fire insurance on their properties. For them, this kind of losses, vandalization, riot, strike, and civil commotion, like we call it, is a rider, RSCC rider or RSCC extension, depending on what you choose to call it. Now, for those who have adequate, who are not underinsured, well, all the claims will be paid in full. Now, for those who do not have, especially if you have a motor insurance, for example, when we talk of comprehensive motor insurance is in classes. There is one that does not have the rider of RSCC, and there is one, if you don't have the RSCC, in this instance, there is no way you can come up to say you want to make any claim on your car. And there is another one that has the extension of that buys back your excess. If you don't have that one, if you have that one too, yeah, it's okay. But let's concentrate on riot, strike, and civil commotion extension. Now, when you're buying a comprehensive insurance, it's high time that when you're talking to your broker or your insurance consultant, specifically ask for this kind of cover. Now, the eye-opener for the insurance company in this instance is the fact that over the years, insurance company, a lot of practitioners, we have undercut some of the rates that we're supposed to be charging on this kind of extension. Ideally, we're supposed to be charging additional 1%. But sometimes, because of pressure or because of competition, we tend to want to outwit the other. We lower the standard significantly. Some go as low as figures that cannot even be mentioned over the air. But this is high time. This should be an eye-opener for quite a number of us professionals to make sure that anytime we are making quotation to our clients, we charge adequate premium, so that in cases like this, when things like this happen, we'll be able to compensate them adequately without, squeezing our eyes or trying to look for ways to maneuver the things and make sure that they don't get as much as they should have gotten. And another thing is, even if you have a situation on hand and you do not have that kind of extension, well, I'm aware that some underwriters, if you, based on your business relationship with them, you can still let them know that, okay, during this NSAS protest, you had this claim, you have this claim, what can they do? And you take it up with them on a one-on-one based on your personal relationship with them. But the most important thing going forward, everybody should see to it that when you are doing any form of comprehensive insurance, whether your automobile or your properties, make sure you add this extension. And as a matter of fact, we have quite a number of clients since this thing happened that have been calling us, asking us if they have that extension on their policies. And some actually do have it, and we let them know. And some who don't have it, we advise them that if you want to add it at this time, between now and the time your policy will expire, it could be prorated and it will be added, to your policy.
Well, let's discuss further on claims. I am wondering the process. You've talked about claims, but let's break down the process for those who would, of course, be coming to insurance companies to, present their claims. What's involved for both the states, the federal, the private companies, and, of course, private individuals, like you've just mentioned, who have cars? Do you think the insurance companies have the capacity to grapple with losses so unprecedented, because this has been quite massive?
Well, this is a very, very trickish matter when we talk of the insurance company having capacity to meet up with the claims. Well, I will say yes to that. And to an extent, I may want to reluctantly say maybe not. to that same question. The reason why I'm saying maybe not is because we still have quite a number of genuine claims outstanding with a few insurance companies. So if you are now adding maybe 10% of the 1 trillion naira claim to that, those who are finding it difficult to pay the ones that are on ground already, you now add another to it, then that's why I said I'm a little reluctant to say they don't the capacity issue, no. But on the other side, there are a couple of insurance companies, quite a number of in the industry, that don't joke with claims. Some of them, the moment you give them your discharge voucher, within 24 hours, 48 hours, your client, you already receive your check. So on that premise, I would say the insurance industry, as of today, have the capacity to meet up with the claims. But the caveat here is, those claims that are being presented, are they adequately covered? Do they have the necessary extension to be able to accommodate the payment of those claims? No, I'm not talking of ex gratia payment now. That is payment made by grace based on the relationship that you have with the insurance company.
Many thanks to you, Mr. Titus Abe, MD of Livingstone Insurance, for coming on Newsday today and giving us more urban insights. Much appreciated.